didn't cry until I was like 18. So we were my daddy's sons till my brother came in the picture. And so now that he found out about Zach's diagnosis and everything, he's like, I can't yell, can I? No, you better not yell at him. And you better not tell him don't cry either. Because like Zach's first reaction is to cry.
Welcome back to the podcast. I started this podcast as a way to help Black men in all aspects of our lives. Studies show on average we lose 2.8 years of our life when we're under heavy stress. And I think we can gain those 2.8 years back if we express ourselves healthily. Stick with me as I interview therapists, doctors, advocates, activists, and friends about how we can be better as Black men and as a Black community. If you're not subscribed to us on YouTube and following us on Instagram and TikTok, you'll definitely want to do that. Without further ado, let's get into the episode. We are back with another episode. We are here with Mandii. Mandii, first of all, I appreciate you because you're one of the few people that's like reached out with like a detailed proposal for an episode. Like you literally email like, yo, listen, I think this would be a dope episode. We could talk about this, yada, yada, yada. And most of the time people don't do that.
They're like, let me get on your couch.
Let me get on the pod. Let's talk about whatever. And I'm like, all right, so now I got to come up with a script, which is my job regardless. But it was just nice for a change for somebody to come with like legit, this is what I think we could talk about. And this is why I think it's impactful. This is why I think it's important. It's made my job that much easier. You feel me? So appreciate you for that. With that being said, please tell the people who you are, what it is that you do before we get into everything.
Yeah. So my name is Mandii Brown. I am a licensed clinical mental health counselor. Also certified life coach. Currently, I work with one of the universities in Tennessee as a mental health counselor on campus. I am also a contract forensic therapist. So I work with DOC and halfway houses with reintegration.
Okay. So you do a lot.
I do a lot, but they all connect and they're all like aligned with my passion and how I grew up. So I'm loving what I'm doing right now.
Right. No, I love that. Right. And so the thing that we were talking about and I want to start with is the men that you work with.
Yeah.
Right. And like the folks that have been impacted by the justice system, reintegration, all that kind of stuff. I want to start with, first of all, the men that you work with, what are some of the hurdles that they're going through that someone like myself that's not really like working with them on a daily basis would even know about?
So a lot of the men that I work with are either lifers or have 15 plus year sentences. So like
So explain what that means.
So if you're in there for life, you're not going nowhere.
And where?
You're not going outside, but you are in a facility. So I work with Tennessee Department of Corrections, their maximum security prisons. So Riverbend, and most importantly, DeBerry Special Needs Center. So those are all like the psychological cases on that facility. And those guys, you're not going to move for a while.
Okay.
Some of them you do, but majority of the time, you're there.
Right.
And a lot of those men have been there since they're about 15, 16. I had one guy who was there from 16 and actually got his first chance at parole, and he is now 45.
45?
Yeah, just turned 45 this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did he get out on parole?
Yeah, he's doing great. He's doing phenomenal.
Okay,
so he got accepted, but I mean, like, he got out based on his situation. So I can say the surface. He was molested by his father. And after so long, he fought back.
Right.
Dad grabbed a gun. He grabbed the gun from dad, killed dad. And so...
and he went to jail for that?
Yep, at that age. And the crazy part was, and it's still now with DCS, he contacted DCS a lot and was trying to get out of the home. And they neglected him until that happened. And he was locked up. And then now they passed this law where, like, if you had that type of situation, you're allowed to get out. So he's out on parole. But he still has that life charge. So in reality, he needs to get pardoned to have like a clean slate.
Right.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. So 15 to midlife of not knowing nothing. Now he's trying to learn how to work a computer, a cell phone.
Right.
Never had a license.
Right.
The world is like,
Yeah, man. Dang, that's kind of wild. Like I you know, you always think about, when you think about, for me personally, when you think about someone that's like in the justice system, in like a facility, in prison, in that type of situation, you're always thinking like, okay, they did something that probably justified them being there. That situation, I'm like, wow, like that's like, I don't know, like kudos, shout out to him, because I don't know how I wouldn't be able to do. I probably wouldn't be able to do that, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. That takes a lot, bro. Like,
and guys who are in that situation who are like actually like innocent, they will have, and they'll come to sessions like that. They'll have their whole file and drop it on desk. Like, let's talk about it. Like, they'll have like their court transcript, the charges, the law book, trying to like decipher, like, how can I get out? Because I'm not supposed to be here. Right. And imagine having that in your mind every day, year after year, knowing you're not supposed to be here and you're stuck and the justice system is not going to help you.
So let's talk about the mental health of like just these men in general, like before, during, after incarceration. Because like I said, I just can't imagine. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like that sounds so wild. So I just want to know from your perspective as you work with these guys, like what is their mental health like? What is like their family situations normally look like? How does that transition when they're incarcerated, and then like how afterwards, like do they normally deal with things? Like, and we can go, if you have like a good example, that'd be great.
I have a great example.
Okay. If you have like a maybe not so good example, that'd be good as well for us to kind of see.
You already know we have the stigma now with Black people and mental health, right? Like we're going to deny, ignore.
Right.
So imagine you having a diagnosis, ignoring it, then getting locked up. And then some, not all, but some prisons do either misdiagnose to get you on medication or diagnose you. And we have that stigma of not wanting the help.
Right.
So in a way, you kind of put yourself in another mental trap while you're in a physical trap. Like you're just stuck.
Right.
And so while you're at a young age, for some of them, you're losing your innocence, you're forced to be a man. Like when you walk through that door, you no longer have a name, you have a number. Like they're gonna walk past you, what's your number? Yeah. So, and to be identified as that is just even more, you're losing your humanity like bit by bit. And so for those guys, I know a lot of them, when they first started off with me, they're like, I don't want to talk. Nothing's wrong with me. I'm fine. I'm keeping my head down. I'm cool.
Right.
Until they see some of the other guys start talking.
Yeah.
And then they'll go, okay, well, I feel like I'm anxious. Like, I can't sleep. Like, what is this? And we'll start like kind of discussing it and going bit by bit. And then when they're comfortable, we start talking about like their childhood and everything. And then they're starting to learn like, yes, they have PTSD based off like upbringing, of course, depression, the level we do not know. Cause they like to mask it a lot.
Right.
Like I know for a couple guys I've worked with, if some of the other men find out they have medication, they're going to try to get it from them. They want to work with you to get it. Like, what you got, what drugs you got? I want to sell this on the yard. So it's like they're ignoring some of it not to get caught up even more than they already are. So it kind of sucks.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So basically like them getting a solution to their problem can create another problem for them. Damn.
It's like, oh, you got Zoloft? Let me get this off your hand.
Now you got to fight some because you trying to take care of your mental.
I got to fight my mind and I fight you because I'm trying to be stable, trying to do my time correctly. So a lot of my guys do, like, we'll do journaling, we'll color. And like, I'm like, okay, today the day you guys want to try something? They're like, no. Like, let's just color, let's just talk about it. We'll do group circles and everything, but they will push away medication real quickly.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because it makes them a target.
Yeah. And then some of them who do take the medication, like Boost Bar is a big thing right now.
What's it called?
Boost Bar.
Boost Bar?
Yeah. So it helps like their depression.
It's like an antidepressant?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The issue is that a lot of them get like restless leg syndrome. So they don't like how it makes the rest of their body feel. Or they feel like really fatigued. So they're like, I don't want to take it anymore. Like, I think it can work, but I don't take it. Well, okay, there's other options to have this. And they're like, no. Like, it's going to mess me up all over. I don't want it. So it's like, it's kind of a lose-lose. Some of them are good. Some of them do need it, though. So there are guys who have, like, higher diagnosis. So, like, schizoaffective and psychosis and things. They will take it. They're willingly taking it because some of those mental health diagnoses is what got them into the system.
So for them, it's like, nah, you
gotta take it.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead and get this prescription.
I got one man that come in. He was like, you got my candy. I was like, yeah, we got it for you.
So you said coloring. I found that so interesting.
Yeah.
Because as a man, I know the first thing a lot of men are thinking about is like coloring. Like that's things that kids do.
It's calming.
Right. So explain to me why coloring is like a good technique for men.
It's calming. It helps you kind of escape a bit as well. But you said for little kids, a lot of them, when you get into the system or something traumatic happens, you stop at that age where it happens. So say my guy got locked up at 15, 16, his mindset stopped at that age. So for him, when we were having our sessions every day, it was very common for him. And then again, those who have families, you can color and you get to send that out to like your kids and your nieces and nephew or grandkids. It's like a gift. So it's an extra escape that they can have. And it's for free too.
Right.
You don't got to pay nobody or like do anything wild to get some coloring pages.
Right. So you recommend, even if a man is not incarcerated, you should probably get a coloring. I tell my dad, go get a coloring book. No. I do now. It's great. I mean, it helps with your anxiety too. Like there's multiple different types of coloring books. Like even now I make journals. The new journal I made has a lot of coloring pages in there just for like the college students that we get to work with. And they love to just sit and color and escape. It just helps them decompress. And I do it too. Even when I fly, it's just. Where you just color a little bit?
Yeah.
I think I saw this, I don't remember the company's name and I don't even want to endorse them, but I saw this like product where you can basically like get a painting and it will give you all like the paint that you need, everything. It'll send you everything. And like they will label each section of the thing and then with the color that you're supposed to use. So that by the time you finish like painting it, you have your own. Yeah. I'm like, that's kind of fire. Like, cause that to me that's something cool that I potentially would be interested in doing. So I can, when you talked about the coloring, I'm like, okay, I think that would be a dope activity because I sometimes struggle with anxiety. And like for me, like I try to do meditation, breathing techniques, all that kind of stuff. But I think all of that is a way to take your mind off of what it is that you're dealing with. And so like the coloring is kind of a cool thing that I might want to incorporate and try. So I like Photoshop and stuff like that. So I'm kind of thinking about like, I'm basically doing like when you in Photoshop, some of the stuff that I was doing in Photoshop was basically coloring. Like I would just outline somebody's like, these are for folks that know Photoshop, they're going to know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But like there's a way you can outline like somebody's like facial features and everything like that. And by the time you finish outlining everything, you have basically like, it's basically like
a new masterpiece.
Yeah, you basically have like a blank slate, like a coloring, something that you can color in of that person. Then you can just take a paintbrush tool and just fill in like the different sections with like a color. So like, that's basically coloring. And I used to do that when I was in college. I used to make cartoons of people. That's how I would make cartoons.
Why'd you stop?
Because I got busy.
So?
I started building a brand and I was like, you know what? I don't know if I need to be making cartoons anymore. I need to be making thumbnails. So
you got to do both. Like I have a schedule. Like every Sunday, everyone knows after church, don't talk to me. Eating, watching TV, most likely coloring and relaxing. Like that is a soothing day for sure. So you have to schedule that in, especially if you was good at it.
Yeah, I might get back between, 2025. I might start back up again, man. I might start back up again. So let's get back into what we were talking about, right? I want to talk to you about, because you talked about the young man who's now older. Obviously, like he was 16, went through a very traumatic situation, fought back, and unfortunately landed himself incarcerated. How do you feel like, what are some changes you think the justice system can make to like improve some of the outcomes for some of these Black men, like based on like your experience with them?
Man, it's hard to say fully because it's a state by state type thing. Okay. Each state has its own laws, own policies, everything. True. So like, say for instance, marijuana is legal in some, not in others. And if it's not legal in others, you can have a certain amount before it becomes like a citation and stuff like that. And we all know there's a lot of cases where Black men get locked up for something as small as that. You become a number instantly for that. Now that's on your record. Now you can't get the job that you want. Now you're thinking, I got to drug test you every time.
Right.
And I always tell the people I work with, there's no difference between me and you, except for you're in blue jeans 24/7 and I'm not. Like, we have done the exact same thing. And so I think lawmakers need to realize, like, you were a child once. For sure you sold something. For sure you sold something on the streets just to get some money. So why is that different from this brother that had to do it to put food in his mouth or a child's mouth? Like, why not give the same redemption? And some judges do that. And then that's up to us to stay out of trouble, do what we're supposed to do, follow the rules, and then do that 1159, like I say, which is probation, and get it over with. But also, like, you have the power to change, your path. If you don't, that's on you. And men need to remember, all because you get off one time doesn't mean you're not going to get caught up in the next. The same path is not going to lead to a new door. Like, you got to switch it up.
The same path is not going to lead to a new door.
It's not. I mean, it may lead to a different door, but not to the door that you want.
Right.
You're going to get caught one way.
Listen, there's a lot of brothers that need to hear that. I'm going to keep it a stack with you. I know a lot of dudes that's just like, man, I had a clip that went viral one time where I was talking about we all have someone in our lives that continues to make the same mistake over and over and over and over again. And it's like you keep getting the same lesson over and over and over again, but you don't integrate the lesson, which leads you to making the same mistake and leading you to staying in the same place. And that's what that just reminded me of. A lot of folks think like, I'm gonna just keep doing the same thing and eventually I'm gonna get to, like, no, that's not how life works. Like, I really believe in, like, I believe that there are certain levels that we get to. And just like in games, we face a boss, which is like, this is like a big thing that we have to get over. And if we don't take the lesson from that and integrate it for the next time we go through that same lesson, that same boss or that same level, we're going to be stuck on that level. Like, I have a perfect example for me. Like, for me, relationships used to be really hard. Like, I would get to a point in a relationship and I would have a decision that I needed to make. I could either stay patient and, work things out, or I could be up and out of here. Right. And sometimes, like, because of where I was at with, like, my level of maturity, I wouldn't cheat or anything like that. But mentally, I'm already checked out because I'm like, I'm good. Like, there's too many women out here. I'm straight. Like, I don't need to be in this. And I'm already mentally checked out. I'm not cheating, right? But I'm mentally checked out from the relationship because I'm like, this is not working for me. Like, I don't even want to make this work. And so, like, now when we can sit and have conversations about stuff, I'm not really all the way there. I'm not 100% in there because I'm already mentally checked out. And I eventually got to that point in my current relationship and I was like, I keep doing the same I keep doing the same thing. Luckily, I was reading the Bible at that time. I was doing a lot of Bible study. I still do Bible study. I was doing a lot of Bible study. And this is why I tell men all the time, read the Bible, get in tune with God, get in alignment. Because I was reading the Bible, I kept doing random verses. And every time I read a random verse around that time, like, the moral of the verse was like patience. And I'm like, God, I ain't trying to hear this right now. I'm trying to be patient right now.
I want a new woman who I can start over with.
You feel me? You're supposed to be telling me there's more fish in the sea. Like, what's
toxic?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, right? So I wasn't trying to integrate that lesson, but God kept on hitting me over the head with it. And so that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. Like, a lot of men don't understand the power in actually sitting down, doing that self-reflection, understanding where they went wrong, and then applying the lesson that they've learned the next time they face the thing. Because it's real easy in the moment to say, oh yeah, you know what? I could have did this. But then when you actually go through the situation again, it's like, okay, are you going to integrate that? Like, are you going to actually apply that now? Or are you going to just revert back to your old behavior?
Now you got to think about our version of apply and their version of apply.
Okay, explain.
Like, okay, so say my son takes a cookie from the cookie jar, right? Mm-hmm. And he knows he's not supposed to take it without eating or washing his hands or whatever.
Right.
So I get on him the first time, like, don't do it. And so then, okay, you wash your hands, you take it. No, you got to ask me first. Okay, he washes his hands. No, you got to eat your food first. So it's like their perception of I'm applying to get the results that I want, but it's not the full application that's what's needed to actually get the results. So it could be completely different. I mean, hey, like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, Lord. Now, can I have this? And he's like, no, not yet.
I like that nuance that you just added there. That's very important. Sometimes folks do apply, but they're just not applying it the right way.
I'm guilty. Like, what do I do? Like, I know I'm supposed to go get gas before it turns dark. or my man's gonna get very upset. So I was like, okay, I got gas at 5 o'clock, but I only got a little gas, and I run out of gas the next day. He said, well, you need to get a full tank. I get a full tank. But then it's like, I'm still bumping my head doing the same thing. Like, I'm applying myself, or what they say, like, I'll see yourself applying yourself, Smokey. Like, it's not good enough.
Now,
but it's good enough for me, though.
Right. Now, I don't want to get too spicy, but you just mentioned something, and I feel like it's important for me to ask this question now, because I know somebody's going to be, I know some woman is thinking this right now. Some woman right now is thinking, why is your man telling you to get gas? And why isn't he getting the gas?
Because
Is y'all doing long distance?
I am independent.
Oh, you're independent. You one of those?
Like I told you about my schedule on a daily basis. I'm always on the go.
Okay.
And so there's to a point where I got to do it if he's not going to do it. And it's not like he won't, but it's like our schedules are not the same.
It's out of his way.
And I said, so like some of my days start literally I wake up every day 4:30 a.m. on the dot. Get myself, get the kids, boom, 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 boom. Everything that follows. I move. My day does not stop until 6:30 p.m. So I don't have the capacity for you to come fill up my tank. You have to do it when I'm asleep.
Right.
Let me be knocked out like, oh, it's magic.
Yeah. Nah, 4:30 is different, bro. I thought I'll be up at like, that alarm go off at 5, but I don't get up at 5. Tell you that. I stay in bed until like 5:30, 5:40 sometimes. And
I blame my job too, honestly. Like, the closer I got with the guys that I work with, I started picking up their schedule. Like, I have on my phone, it's 10 o'clock count, 2 o'clock count, 4 o'clock count. Like, I have that plugged in. So like, my body's kind of set the way, okay, like, this is the time to wake up and get ready. I need this type of paperwork or these notes on my desk in the morning to grab and go. Like, oh, I remember this person wants coloring pages or these Bible scriptures. Let me help them print it out. So like, my body has been set up to like kind of match their schedule. Cause like I said, I get to go home at the end of the day. That is their home. So I try to accommodate them within the space I can as much as possible when it comes to like their mental health needs and what they're wanting. Right. So it's like, I don't really get no sleep.
Damn.
All right, I'm interrupting this podcast episode to let you guys know to leave a review on the podcast. Please, 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 if you are listening to this episode and you're finding value in this episode, you're enjoying the conversation, or you've enjoyed a previous episode or conversation, and it's safe to operate your phone right now, please leave us a review. Your review is a free and easy way to support us, and it helps us reach more people like you. We're on a mission to build a stronger, more connected Black community, starting with Black men. And you can help us on that mission by taking a minute out of your day to leave a review. Your review helps us generate more listeners, which in turn generates more revenue, allowing us to expand the platform even further. So please take a few seconds out of your day. I know you're busy. I understand. I know you're doing a lot, but it will help us greatly if you would just take a few seconds out of your day to leave a review right now. Did you leave a review yet? All right, let's get back to the episode.
So you just talked about being able to go home at the end of the day. A lot of them, like, that's their home. But for some of them, like, they eventually get to actually go home. White risk is a great thing, but can also come with its own share of struggles and difficulties, right? So can you talk about like what that process is like normally for the folks that eventually start reintegrating into society? Like, what are some of the biggest things that they struggle with that we probably are not even thinking about?
So the biggest thing is getting the yes to go home.
Okay.
Because you can be ready, you can go to the parole board, you can have your certifications, you can have the education portion, you can have the recommendation letter from the warden, and they can still tell you no.
Why would they? Well, why though? Why in those situations? Like, what are some of the reasons why?
I've learned down there, with certain crimes, well, all of them, honestly, but there's someone who was on the other side that was the victim, rightfully so, in most situations. They can come to the parole board hearing and say, I don't want them to leave. I am still suffering. And rightfully so. Like, I'm still experiencing this. I relive this every day. They do not need to be outside. Whereas the person on the other side will like, I'm living this every day. I'm experiencing this. I'm ready to come home and change. The gap is there. So that's the biggest hurdle. Now, there may be some that may not show and may not fight, or it could be percentage. So you can serve sentences at 30%, 70%, 100%. So let's see, I have 5 years. I'm going to serve about 2.5-ish. And then I'll be up for parole. That's up for the parole board to tell me, yes, I can have the best behavior, the best job, and I can still be told no. So then that's another mental health hurdle right there. But for those who get to be told yes, they'll get their answer within about 2 weeks, and they have to have an approved home plan. Now, some people are allowed to go home, whoever they approve, and some are mandated to go to a halfway house or a transition home. And that's where I also come in outside the facilities. So I work with Tennessee Higher Education Initiative. Love, 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 love. Big on education. You get to go back to school for free. So you come to the houses, and it's an actual house. Like, it's not like dorm style. And a lot of guys come in like these big old eyes, like, like there's a kitchen, bedroom, bathroom, everything. And so with that, we get you a case manager, come up with the plan to get you reacclimated. And that's my favorite part, because they get to meet other alumni from the initiative and get support from them. So similar charges, similar situations. And a lot of them that I work with now, like after 9 months, I can say are doing way better than me in life. Like,
really?
Yes. And one of them right now, his name is Edward. We are super duper close. We bonded over Harry Potter. We're Harry Potter nerds. And he's also a parent. And so he got out, got reunited with his kids, got custody back. Is doing great with the initiative. Is guest speaking everywhere. Really? Going back in the facilities, helping others, like spreading the word, like being on education. He's finished his associates. He's about to come to school where I work at. Like,
nah, that's fire.
I get so excited about like the other part because it's so dope. And they all say on their applications, like, I want to change. Like, I want to come out. I'm tired of bumping my head. I want to do better. We have a lot of older guys too, actually, now that I think about it, like in their 50s, like breaking the norm. Like, I've done this for so long. It's not working. Right. And I've seen what you all do work for others. So I love being on the mental health aspect and then helping you come out. And it's like, I get to see you guys.
Yeah. So talk to me about a halfway house, because I feel like every time I hear the word halfway house, I think about like, and I'm sorry, I think about like a trap house.
I mean, some of them are. Okay. I can say some of them are set up to where they'll get you caught up. Okay. And I've worked with the women's facility as well. Some women that I work with have picked certain halfway houses because they know you can have drugs in there. You can sneak out and they don't care about your curfew. And there are some men halfway houses set up that way. And you could see it, like the outside is like it's unkept. And the only time that person actually gets caught up at that halfway house if them and like the house manager kind of gets into whatever. So some halfway houses are set up as trap houses for sure. But that's why I make sure I have like the good ones in my pile. I'm like, go look at this. Like, this is more so you. If you're wanting to get out and stay out of trouble, to be back with your family, to find a job, to have financial literacy, to have a new identity, go to these halfway houses. Don't pick something that's going to get you caught up. It's people, places, things that are always going to get you caught up. Do not go back to that.
So you basically recommend like a list of houses or places that they could go to.
There's a list they can choose from, but like I know the guys who are actually getting out and have that same excitement that I have for them. I'm like, okay, like I know what you are wanting to do. Let's make a plan and let's pick from these. And then there's also RSP grant that helps them pay for the halfway houses. So if you come out with no money, there's a grant that pays for your stay.
Oh, okay. And so you said, all right, so biggest hurdle is normally getting through parole.
Getting the yes.
Right. Once they get the yes, they got to have an approved home plan, which you basically work with them on.
Yep.
And that would include like, this is where I'm going. Yeah. Does that include like how long they stay?
So that's up to the parole board. Okay. Some can only have to stay like 9 months. Some have to stay for a year. Okay. But that's also based off mental health and substance abuse. Okay. So there are some guys, we all know on the inside, you can get what you want or a substitute version of it. Mm-hmm. And there are some that come out who still struggle with addiction. So that parole board, like, okay, you can come out, but you need to have an approved home plan and do AA, NA meetings every week, do monthly and random drug testing, and you must have a job by this certain day. And so I've had one person who had that plan, and I was like, okay, cool, you gonna get out, you gonna get clean, da-da-da-da. They got out, we got them we call it Suboxone, so the medication you need to kind of keep you sober. They picked a different halfway house 2 days after that just because they felt like the stipulations were too high. And so that messed up their parole plan. They had to find a new home within 48 hours. Couldn't find it. Violation. Got picked up. Sent to county.
What?
Tennessee does not play when it comes to parole in anything, in any aspect.
Damn.
So say, because people like to vape now a lot. And so say someone puts something in your vape and you have to go drug test and it pops up. If you and your parole officer don't have some type of understanding,
it's over? Oh,
it's a wrap.
No. Nah, see, this is what I'm saying. I can't. I just can't.
Yeah.
This is why I don't commit no crimes, man. This is why I just be, I'm straight and narrow. I don't got time. I don't have time because, bro, me?
Yeah, your life is in someone else's hands now. It is no longer your own. Like I said, once you lose your name and get that number, your life is no longer your own. And you have to accept that. You have no choice but to accept that.
Yeah, nah, that ain't it. That is not it. Listen.
Reality, once you get behind that wall and you hear that heavy door lockup behind you, that's when that acceptance really kicks in. It's like, I'm here. Don't let you come on a day when you got locked down.
Man.
Yeah, I got some stories.
So let's shift this to something a little bit more positive now because I'm thinking
getting text.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, yo, golly, we going back the other direction to jail. Nah. They're getting reintegrated into society now. So let's say they got their approved home plan.
Yeah.
Right. They went to the right halfway house that you recommended. They stuck to it.
Or whatever they want, but yeah.
Right. Whichever one, right, that's like actually helping them. And then if they go and they do what they need to do for the amount of time that the parole board told them, now they're able to go back home.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
What does that process look like? Because I can imagine, like, for the folks that you said, like, our dads, right, or maybe have a person at home. What are some of the things that they're going through that's like we wouldn't know about?
So it depends on community and support. So I can say those who actually have the support and they have children, that family, they're like working together to get them reacclimated. So we're doing like weekly visitations and create a new bond. Even on the inside, make sure they talk to the kids like every night and stuff like that. Like that's perfect. Now, for those who have to fight, that's a different battle. And that also messes with a man's mindset because like once you have your seed and your seed is taken away from you and you're trying to fight for that seed, it's like, what do I do now? Because what I want to live for and show that I'm improving for, you're not letting me have.
Right.
And so those guys, we do have like legal aid that steps in and helps them get all those things and again, reunification because it's needed. But like, it is a very uphill battle for sure. Because you have to prove yourself competent. Like I have this charge on my background.
Right.
Now I got to prove I'm Superman just to
see my child.
Yeah.
Damn.
Because Tennessee, they'll use that against you.
The charge?
Yeah. I can say that personally for sure. They'll use that against you. I had a similar situation with Zach's dad. We had a domestic charge. He had put his hands on me. And they use that against him to lower how much time he could have with Zach.
Oh, my God.
And so, like, I understand, like, father, son, you need your dad.
Yeah.
You need your son. But you also have to make sure you have the capacity to keep yourself safe, your child safe.
Right.
And show that you're on the right foot. But at the end, like, those guys, two of the guys I work with now get to have their kids, like, every other week. So it worked out.
Because I don't want to skip what you just said.
Yeah.
You said he had a domestic charge.
Yep.
But he's not doing that no more.
What? No, we are.
Oh, y'all good.
We are in the same space.
Okay.
I believe in parallel parenting when it comes to stuff like that. Like, because it's safe. I can have what I need, like a daily schedule to keep myself safe and my son safe. And then when he's with you, vice versa. But I also keep that paperwork on the table. Like, okay, don't forget, you need to abide by this schedule, abide by this time, abide by this communication outlet. And you're open to go to games, appointments, stuff like that. You exercise your rights. If you don't, that's on you. That's not going to hurt me and what I'm doing because it doesn't stop me from being a mom. And so for those who have those situations, it works. But for those, like the men, it makes it harder for them. If they're on the innocent side, it makes it harder for them to be with their kids. So I get why some dads are like, skip this, I don't want to do this anymore, da-da-da-da. But, I mean, it sucks like on both sides overall, though. So yeah, my situation was like, he did it right after I had my son and did it again like a few months later. So at that point, like, because I work with the justice system, I know like what that does to Black men. Right. I wasn't quick to go file charges. I'm like, no. I'm like, let's just verbally get a plan situated, written out. Let's call it a day. Wasn't enough.
Damn.
So that forced my hand to do something. And that was something I didn't want to do. Because like, I don't want my son to see that. Yeah. Like, oh, dad has a mugshot. No.
Yeah, like that's not a...
No. Yeah. But I realized he made this statement. He made the statement on recording and on paper that I would catch as many mugshots behind my son. I was like, that's not what you think it is. And it's not going to come off as what you think it is either. Like you should be, I'm going to expand a business in the name of my son. I'm going to get a better education and do all these things. Not get a mugshot willingly just to say you're going to be around because Tennessee is going to stop you right then and there. So, it sucks. Like I love that there are men who come up from stuff like that are fighting for relationship with their kids because it shows on a better foot, like, don't do this.
Right.
Like, let me show you, get good Black men around you and mentors to keep you out of the streets or having this mindset, especially now with social media. Everyone thinks it's so cool. Like, no, let me not show to you. I'm going to show you this, but let me show you that it's wrong. Right. And let me help you grow because you're going to be beyond this.
Right. You know, I didn't know we were going to go ahead, but now that we're here.
Now that
we're here, man, I feel obligated because there's so many questions that are popping in my head. So if you're comfortable and are willing to talk about it, I would love to like spend a little bit of time discussing that because I feel like we have a large audience of women, Black women that watch or listen to the podcast because y'all just consume way more podcasts than men do.
We got time. We driving everywhere.
Yeah. Yo, my girl, when she's in the bathroom, she just...
I'm playing it in the shower.
She's playing Club Shay Shay. She's playing the other shorty. I forgot her name. She got all types of podcasts. And one thing y'all will do, y'all will come back to like, once I stop watching a podcast in the middle of a podcast, like 30 minutes in, I'm never coming back to the episode.
No, I'm finished.
I'm done. I'm like, all right, the episode's done to me. Y'all will literally the next day come back right where y'all left off and then keep going. Y'all are great. I love it. Nonetheless, right? The reason why I feel obligated to ask this question is because there's some Black women that may have women, you know, that they're friends with that have been in similar situations or are in the situation right now. So I want them to kind of learn from your experience, right? And you can resonate with them way more than I could, right? Because I haven't been through a situation like that. So with that being said, one of the things you mentioned is that was going through your head is like, I don't want to...
I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Don't force my hand.
Right. I don't want to press charges because I know what pressing charges could potentially do to a Black man.
Yeah.
To a woman that has that same mindset right now, that may have not just happened one time or like twice, or, you know, like it's happened multiple times now. What would you say to her to help her? Because I feel like oftentimes what unfortunately happens in some situations is women will be getting hit and beat up and they're not saying anything. Or they're pretending like it's all good, like it's not that serious, like he ain't really beat me up that bad, like it wasn't really that bad.
I did that, yeah.
So exactly, right? So I want you to talk about the process that you went through to eventually get to that point, right? Like, and I don't want people that are listening to this to think that I'm trying to encourage a bunch of women to just be out here just like pressing charges on Black men. But at the same time, I don't want Black women getting abused.
I mean, crazy thing is, I know Black men that go through it too. I have 2 Black male clients that have gone through that. So it's like, for me, I felt a lot of shame as a therapist to go through it because it's not spoken about in our community. Not that I heard of. I have heard a lot of advocates, survivors, but I've never heard an actual licensed therapist speak on their domestic violence experience.
Right.
Currently, while having a caseload, like
right. Yeah.
not at all. Yeah. So I felt a lot of shame initially. And then again, dealing with the population I do work with, it's like, oof. Because I see those faces every day. I get to feel those emotions. I watch them go through so much on the inside. Outside of mental health, with them dealing with COs and they BS, because we see it on the news right now. Mm-hmm. It's just that they have so much against them. And again, I know how the state of Tennessee works. I know how it could escalate to where he could potentially be in that predicament, like to just staying in county just for that stuff. And so again, like my stepmom, she was locked up for a few years when I was younger. She went to the feds. So I know what it's like to not have a parent there, like that emotional void, that physical void that I couldn't have from her. It was like, it took a toll on me.
Right.
So for potentially my son having to deal with that, luckily he was small, but for him to have to deal with that, I was like, I don't want this. I'd rather leave in silence.
Right.
Which I thought I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was not enough. Even getting like a parenting plan was not enough. So for some women who are going through that situation, I can just say, like, as a woman and not like a therapist, you know when enough is enough. Mm-hmm. Like, your body's going to tell you, your mind's going to tell you, you know when enough is enough. Your friends can't tell you, they can't keep interceding because you're going to keep pushing them away. And so you're going to have the strength to look at yourself in the mirror and then stare at your children or child and be like, this is not it. This is not safe. Even if it's just one hit, it's not safe.
Right.
Because if you love me enough, you wouldn't do that to me. If you love our child enough, you have never done that to me because I'm the main caretaker.
Right.
So, Mom, you are the main caretaker. Don't settle for something like that. And it's hard to leave because, I mean, the emotional and physical connection, mental connection. And again, domestic violence is not just always physical. It's emotional, mental, physical, financial. And so a lot of women don't leave because of that financial aspect. Because if a man keeps telling me, oh, I'm gonna provide, I'm gonna pay for this and this and this, and you pay for everything, and I don't have to do anything, I'm gonna be hesitant to leave. Because where am I gonna get this money from? I'm gonna get a job that quick.
Right.
Apartments at $3,000 for a studio. Where you gonna go?
You're right. I ain't got three bands.
Diapers, $50 a box. Where we going? So I luckily, again, just and my current relationship understands I'm just very hyper independent based off stuff like that. So is that when you put me in a situation to where I have to show my hand and like literally level up on purpose, I'm never gonna go back to that.
Right.
And so my partner has to tell me like, chill out.
Yeah, relax.
I got this.
Yeah.
And so for women, you just have to get enough courage to like just step away for sure. But don't step away without a plan. I had community. I had a lot of community. Once I finally opened my mouth, woo!
People were ready to help you?
Came to the crib 15 minutes later. What happened? Where he at? Whoa, slow down. The baby's sleeping.
Yeah.
So community stepped up immediately. I got the best rest ever. I found a great lawyer. I finally got to take a vacation for myself. Before my son, I didn't go on vacation for real by myself in like 4 years.
Damn. Okay.
So like they gave me the space to just be myself. Not the therapist, not the mom, not the sister, not the friend, just be human. And like that's very important. So if you're gonna leave, make sure you have community. Make sure you have a plan. Even if you cannot afford a lawyer, think about what a parenting plan will look like if you do have a child, what that would safely look like for you all. Because there's no doubt about it, a man's going to go to court or do whatever he needs to do to get a child. And by all means, do so. But do that with the child in mind, not do something in spite of the woman.
Right.
Which some men tend to do, for sure.
Man, that was a lot of goodness in there, man. That was a lot of good stuff. I want to revisit something that I think is very important to talk about, because I see this conversation on social media so much, and I'm getting a little flustered, but also feeling like I need to say something about this because it's kind of getting crazy. There's a lot of men on social media, I think, that just because we have bread and that we pay for everything, that automatically excludes our partners from having any type of say-so in anything.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
And what you just explained is that is a part of domestic violence.
It is. Financial abuse is very real. You're keeping the money to yourself and dangling it over my head, knowing I can't do anything. I got to get your permission for everything. That ties into my mental as well. You are abusing me.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a term, but that's kind of like, I'm going to, maybe it's not a term, but that sounds like financial manipulation. Like literally, if you cannot move without me, like literally, I'm forcing you to be codependent.
Yes.
You're not even codependent by choice. You're codependent because I'm forcing you to be financially codependent on me. And a lot of men like that because they like the control that they get to exercise. And they'll front and pretend like they don't like. But if you're saying, yo, listen, you're not allowed to say anything if I'm paying for everything, you like that. You do like that. Like you like that you like that dynamic. So for me personally, like the reason why I'm talking about this is because I don't want the men that are listening to this to fall into that trap of believing that just because you make bread and you provide, that makes you a dictator. And like, you're the only person that has any type of say-so in anything. Like that's not a recipe for a productive, healthy relationship.
But then you got to ask, what was that example, set at? Where was that tone accepted?
Right.
Like some people say, I see my dad do it. But in reality, a couple of guys that I work with, that tone was set of them dealing with poverty and them seeing their mothers in that predicament, and they don't want to deal with that anymore. And so that control over money is like, I don't want to be in this space. And when they're starting to lose that control of having everything perfect in their mind, it's like, okay, she needs to get in line as well. And they're not always seeing it as such, though.
Yeah, you know what's so interesting? Now that I think about it, man, I used to be a very anxious, like I told you, I deal with anxiety. And that happened, that started for me very young, but I didn't realize it was anxiety. I just used to think that I was just like, this is what being a man is. And so I was in a relationship and I would be telling her like, yo, you can't wear this, you can't do that, you can't. And I would think that, I'm just exercising boundaries.
Yeah.
I'm setting and enforcing. And we didn't have that terminology back then. I didn't know what the hell a boundary was. All I knew was I'm a man and I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what you can and can't wear. You going to go yay or nay. You going to change your clothes. You going to sit in the house. I'm going outside of what I put on.
Exactly. Mandii, you got it. That's exactly what I was on. Right? And it wasn't until after that relationship where I sat down and did that self-reflection where I was able to realize like, oh, nah, you was actually dealing with some insecurity. You was anxious, bro. You were worried that if she went to these places and she looked too good, that she would eventually be like, nah, you're a dub and leave you. Like you were actually operating off of a fear of abandonment and not rationale. Like this wasn't like logic that what you were exhibiting, right? You try to make it seem like it's logic and it does come.
It's logical to you.
Right. It does sometimes come off as logical if you word it a certain way, right? But it really, the feeling that was underneath all of that sparked the entire conversation was anxiety and a fear of abandonment. A lot of men like try to front like they're not scared to be single, but then they do all of these things that show like you actually are terrified of not being in a relationship, which is why you exhibit so much control and try to control your partner in every which way turn, because you are terrified that if they are allowed to be on their own, that they're going to either cheat or decide that they don't want to be with you. And that would leave you single. And you don't want to deal with being single.
And where did that come from?
I don't know. Growing up, for me personally, I can tell you for me personally, like it was me not seeing my mom enough in the crib.
Yeah.
My mom worked a lot.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes when I tell this story, people are like crazy on social media and they think I'm blaming my mom for like my life and like that I hate my mom. I love my mom to death. Right. So I'm just going to preface it with that because I already know if we put this up, people go, oh my God, you hate your mom. What about your dad? And I'm like, yo, I don't got time. Right. I love my mom to death, but my mom worked a lot. We didn't have it. Like I'm sorry. We didn't have it. My dad wasn't able to really get a job for a variety of circumstances, not for a lack of trying. So my mom was the breadwinner at home. So think about someone that's supposed to be, you know, at home, nurturing you, loving you, hugging you, kissing you, telling you I love you, all these different kind of things.
She's in a masculine role now.
Right. Exactly. I didn't get any of that. And then she'd come home and she's anxious. I don't know if she's dealing with anxiety. And now she's in a whole different mood. She's not in a mood to be nurturing because she just spent like 12 hours at the hospital.
Catering to other people.
Exactly. Using all of her nurturing capabilities to nurture other people. She don't got time to nurture the kids right now. She just went out and got all this money. She doesn't have time. So for me, I feel like that's what sparked like all of this anxiety and like fear of abandonment because I didn't really get that time and love and affection from my mom. So I ended up looking for that in women. And once I finally got it, I'm like, ooh, this is like a drug. I need this. I don't never want you to leave. You can never leave. So I got to control you. I have to control the situation. I got to make sure that I exercise my control as a man because this is what I think being a man is. So that I don't have to ever deal with being single ever again because I don't want to deal with being single. Being single is terrible. It means I'm not going to be able to get the love and affection that I so desperately crave for. Right. And so a lot of the dudes, that's like, yo, if you don't pay no bills, then you can't say nothing. Like, bro, you might have a little bit of a fear of abandonment, bro. And we just gotta be honest with each other. Like we just have to be honest about what we're dealing with, right? And I think sometimes dudes don't want to actually do that self-reflection. It's so much easier to just say, yo, I'm getting money. I'm doing everything I need to do as a man. I'm a provider and I'm a protector. That's all I need to do. I don't need to work on anything else because I'm bringing in 6 figures. It's easy to do that. It's easy to say, yo, I'm making bread. I don't need to work on anything else. What's really hard is actually sit down and think about like, yo, you know what? I'm actually not the greatest communicator. And you know, when I get mad, I actually don't communicate things well. And I do be talking to my shorty a little wild sometimes. And I can understand why she be in her feelings. And actually, when she's in her feelings, I really don't know how to talk to her when she's in her feelings. So I'd rather just say, yo, do whatever I tell you to do and end the situation like that because it's easier, again, to do that. But hey, who am I? What do I know? What do I know, right? What do I know?
You're right, though. I think the biggest thing is that, again, you all make the blueprint of what a man is. Mm-hmm. And so when they're not sticking to that or you're not sticking to it, you are seen as less of a man. Mm-hmm. And that's the most harmful thing ever. Each year is a new level of what a man is. And each year everyone tries to meet that and they don't meet that apex, they are seen as less than. You guys are each other's biggest bullies.
Yo, I'm telling you, that's why you got to get you some real rights around you. And what I mean by that is like, you got to get some brothers around you that's not falling for the okie doke. That like, yo, if I don't act a certain way, I'm not a man. Or if I say certain things, I'm gay. Like, yo, my man's birthday was yesterday. And we all sent him paragraphs. And men don't do that.
No, y'all don't, because y'all say that's too touchy-feely with my emotion and sensitive.
Man, we say that. I'm going to keep it static with you. We say that's gay. I ain't sending no other man a paragraph. What you mean? That's what his girl's supposed to do. No, why? Why
can't you give a man his flowers?
Exactly, bro. You turned over a new year. You're a dope dude. I'm going to send you a paragraph telling you how much I appreciate you and how dope you are and let you know that you shouldn't think anything less of yourself because you are dope. And we all sent our paragraphs. And I was just sitting there like, yo, bro, I texted him. I'm like, yo, I love that we do this. Because there's certain, I see the duet. I see both sides. I have a group chat. I have a group chat on my birthday where I get a bunch of paragraphs. Mm-hmm. And I have a group chat on my birthday. I get
happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
With an emoji.
You feel me? Happy birthday. And I'm like, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I appreciate both. But if I'm being honest with you, I like reading the paragraph more because it gives me, it helps me to,
feeling.
Yeah, like it gives me more
I mean
feeling.
You
feel me? It gives me more feeling and it lets me know like, yo, damn, like you actually sat and took time out of your day to let me know how much you appreciate me and how much you value me. And I think a lot of us as men, like, we're not going to sit here and say it. I'll say it for us. Like, we would like some paragraphs. Like, I think we should create that type of dynamic in our friendships where we actually are out writing paragraphs and like letting folks know how we feel. And it doesn't have to only be on a birthday. It could be whenever. It doesn't have to be on a holiday. I do mine
whenever.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like, yo, you know what, bro? I'm just checking in. Like, yo, I just want you to know, like, I was thinking about you the other day and yada, yada, yada. I think you're a dope dad. Like, I really saw the way you handle your son or your daughter or whatever the case may be. Like, yo, because sometimes we think these things, but we just don't say it. And it's like, you don't know how that's going to affect that person that's actually dealing with it in real time. You don't know what they're thinking. Some of these, like, especially for new dads don't know, like, if they doing things the right way they think they are.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? But you seeing it and being like, damn, like, that was dope, could really help him, like, actually get over the
hurdles.
Boost
up the confidence.
Exactly.
Yeah, because guys suffer postpartum depression too. Little do you all know.
Mandy, don't say that.
Suffer it
don't say that too loud.
You suffer it with it. Like, ours is naturally different because we're going through the entire experience. Our body's changing, hormones, losing hair, et cetera, et cetera. But you are those who are in the household are dealing with our shit full force. And then you have a new creature screaming and crying, wanting food. And then here comes me, I just want to lay down.
Yeah.
Don't want to move.
Yeah.
And then you protector, Superman, get up. What do you mean you want to lay down?
Right.
What do you mean you want to be still? No, I can't be still. You can't be still. We need to be doing this and the baby and da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
You guys, you are tested at a different level because now you are first forced to be the nurturer. You have to be soft. You got to be soft with me because I'm healing literally, mentally, physically, emotionally. But then you have to be soft with a new bundle of joy that you don't even know how to hold correctly at that.
Yeah.
Because like, oh, how do I hold the neck? It's so itty bitty. Am I going to break it? You're not going to break the baby.
Yeah.
But I love that though, because forcing yourself to be soft when you're younger is seen as gay.
Right.
And it's like, why are you so soft? Man up. Beat your chest. Stop all that crying.
Yeah.
Whereas now you have to intentionally do that and you're finding a new way to be a man. And I love that phase.
Yeah.
So like, I love when guys intentionally go through that because now it's like, you know how to lower your tone, when to raise it up, when to be more aggressive, the boundaries you need to have, not just for yourself, but for your partner and for your family. A new, different level of provider and protector comes into play. Because now you have to intentionally provide and protect and have financial boundaries. You have to budget. You are forced to budget now. You have an extra mouth to feed. It's not a puppy that you can give up. This is stuck with you for life and not for 18 years, forever and ever. Like one day, which just happened, one day your child wakes up, I want to learn how to play baseball. Damn, now you got to go to baseball stuff. No, I don't like baseball no more. What do you mean you don't like baseball no more?
Right, I bought a baseball bat. Like, what you talking about?
I did that. I got the baseball bat, everything, signed up for baseball class. It was like 189. And then he got sleepy in the middle of the class. I was like,
oh no.
It's okay, 189.
Okay. Nah. Yo, kids really are crazy. See, this is why my parents, I talk about this on the podcast from time to time. Like, they're like, yo, when you and Naima are gonna have kids? And I'm like, yo, we good right now. We chilling.
Say that for another year. We are chilling.
We chilling.
Because what?
Oh my God. You guys always sit and think about everything for so long. And I'm like, bro, what you want? You want us to just, relax. They're not trying to hear that right now.
But grandparents see like a new child as like a do-over. Like my dad and my son, because I have brothers, but it's majority girls. It's 11 of us.
Okay.
So my dad and my brother, they have a connection, but it's still like, bumping heads a little bit.
Yeah.
And here comes Zach. Hi, all hugs and kisses and sitting on his lap, eating his food. I said, I couldn't eat your food.
Yeah.
You would not let me dare touch your juice cup. Like, what do you mean? I was on FaceTime with them last night when I was coming here. And he was like, look at my grandson. Look how handsome. Look how handsome he is. He's like, do you want a cookie? Want a cookie yet? I was like, don't you dare. Like, did he eat? He's like, yeah, we had tacos and he just had some ice cream. Now he wants this and we're going to watch dinosaurs and we're going to do this. I just bought him a new bike. Where was my bike?
Right.
Like, you missed a couple of my things.
Yeah.
So grandparents see that as a redo, but I love that too because it also teaches them where they went wrong with us, how they could have been more gentle and soft. And like I said, my son's autistic. And so my dad, us growing up, not big on mental health whatsoever. Like, he's the one, like, he was all girls first. So he the one beating us on our chest saying, hush up, stop out of crying. Like, no tears. I didn't cry until I was like 18. So we were my daddy's sons till my brother came in the picture. And so now that he found out about Zach's diagnosis and everything, he's like, I can't yell, can I? No, you better not yell at him. And you better not tell him don't cry either. Because like Zach's first reaction is to cry. And so I said, you need to tell him it's okay. Do a deep breathing and tell him it's okay. So I watched him do it the first time. It's okay. You can watch him by yourself now. And so it's just, I love it. Like, it's okay to cry. Just get it out. And I wish more dads would do that to their sons now. Because then they wouldn't be like the guys in the predicament that I work with. Because all of them be like, I didn't get to cry. I don't cry here. I dare not cry here. If I cry here, yep, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And so I always say, tell your babies to cry. It's okay. Hold them. Like, it's okay. Like, guys, do y'all really hug each other? Because I didn't see my guy friends start hugging each other for real until like after we graduated college.
Yeah, in college, I ain't really hug. I'm not gonna lie to you. I wasn't hugging.
Quick.
I'd be like, all right, Brody, unless I know something, like if somebody passed.
Why gotta be grief?
Yeah, it would have to be something like that for me to hug, like a real actual hug, not just like a bro hug. Like, it would have to be like grief. Now though, like, I don't mind. Yeah, now I'm just thinking about the last time I hugged one of my male friends. He was going through something. But like it doesn't only have to be that. Like, I don't have the same thought process that I have about it, that I had about it when I was in college.
So when I walked in here, would you like, hey, or would you just dap him up?
I would dap him up. No, I would dap him up and give him a hug. I ain't gonna lie. Especially if I haven't seen him in a little bit. Yeah, like I don't, because I'm doing podcasts and a bunch of stuff all the time. I don't see my bros like that all the time. Like, I'm always all over the place. So when I do see them and I'm in New York, like before we do an episode, like we do a little, like we do a
link
hug.
Up.
Yeah, we do a hug. I ain't gonna lie, we do a hug because it's like, yo, bro, I haven't seen you in so long, and I also don't know, God forbid,
when the next time I see you,
I'm gonna see you. You get what I'm saying? It's like, yo, and I actually do value that. I'm not gonna lie, I value like being able to like have relationships with dudes where it's like, yo, I can give you a hug and nobody feel no weird about it. You feel me? And like we all know what it is. Like, it's all love. For like, these are the same bros that I tell I love you to. Like, and there's no bro attached to the end, no like weird energy, like, it's just, yo, I love you. That's it. And we chilling. Like, I think it's important for us to have those relationships. I'm lucky enough, like I really feel lucky and blessed to have at least 3 friends that I could do that with. At least 3. A lot of dudes don't even have one. You feel me? Or like they're trying to develop those relationships, and then the folks that they're trying to do that with, not really on that type of vibe, not on that time. But I really feel like as men, when we get relationships with other men where we could just legit be free and we don't got to worry about like things being perceived as gay or like weird, like it really allows us to just be comfortable with ourselves and our expression on a whole different level. And it really unlocks a whole different side of us that I feel like a lot of us are lacking and need. Like, you don't understand how much you need it until you actually get to that point and you have a friend that you could do that with. And you're like, yo, damn, like, this is actually kind of dope. Like, I could actually talk to this dude about how I feel. He not gonna say nothing.
Yeah, you actually feel safe.
I actually feel safe with another male. Like, a lot of us sit here and talk about not feeling safe with women.
But y'all don't feel safe with each other.
Yo, that's what I'm saying. A lot of men don't feel safe with other men. And it's like, we want to take that and we want to create safe spaces in our cribs. But it's like, bro, like, you don't even feel safe with the dudes that you spend the most time with. Then you getting tight at your shorty or whatever the case may be because you don't feel like you have a space there. But and nowhere you go there's nowhere that you actually go that you actually cultivate a space, right? So it's like, you can't, like, I don't want to say you can't blame your shorty, but you also have to take some accountability in that, because look at the relationship that you cultivated. Like, where have you cultivated a space where you feel comfortable expressing yourself?
Exactly. I've had the same situation. My ex used to say, like, you got to create a safe space for me. I'm like, I'm a reflection of you. Like, I'm me, but when it comes to certain things, I'm feeding off of you. I can create a safe platform, but if it's not reciprocated, me personally, I immediately shut down. I get quiet. I go into, you can see me start like going into a shell and backing up. Yeah. So it's like, and then, why are you not talking? Da da da. You see what you're doing right now? That's why I'm not talking. You're putting fear into me where I'm not comfortable opening my mouth.
Right.
Because it's not going to be what you want to hear, and I'm afraid of the repercussions.
Exactly. And that's not a good space to be in. That goes back to what I was saying earlier about like some of these men that just want to exert like financial control over shorties and like don't want to sit and think about what they could potentially be doing wrong. That could be leading to a situation that's not conducive for a healthy relationship. Like, you don't want to sit and talk about the fact that you don't know how to communicate. Like, you want a safe space, but you actually don't really know how to communicate how you feel. So like, how can there be a safe space if as soon as you start communicating, you start bashing people, insulting and yelling? Like that's...
Well, one person that could hold them accountable, I can't do it.
And exactly.
So that's where y'all come in.
And that we're supposed to come in, but at the same time, remember, like sometimes, a lot of times we're not even having, either unfortunately for a lot of dudes, like a lot of dudes will not check their bros, or they're not even having these conversations to know what's going on.
No.
Right? Or last thing, man, this is another one. Man, this is kind of, I'm gonna keep it a stack. A lot of dudes be lying to their bros about what's going on. A lot of dudes be lying to their bros. So their bro will be like, yo, bro, what's the word on this? Like, I know this was happening. And some will straight up lie about like, yo, nah, that's not the situation. Or nah, yada, 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 whatever the case may be. Like, I've heard some stories about things and I'm like, wow, like, nah, you're a dub, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even, nah, we good. Like, dudes that like straight up like got shorty pregnant and all these different kind of things, and like they're not trying to be involved, and like they got friends that's holding them accountable, but now they start lying because they don't even want to be held accountable. And now as a friend, you don't even know what the truth is anymore. Like, you sitting there trying to figure out, is this what's happening? Is this, like, you legit got to be invested, like you got to be a detective. Like, even if we do have the intention of like holding our friends accountable, like sometimes, like for some situations I've heard, dudes will legit lie. And it's like in that situation, like either you know and you dub him because you know he's lying, or you may not even know he's lying. And you may think that this is the reality of the situation, and then come to find out like 6 months later, whenever you learn the actual truth. And now it's like, nah, this is not somebody that I want to associate myself with. But I was just bringing all that up just to say, like, we just got to do a better job of creating spaces where we are like expressing ourselves, because I keep hearing a conversation about safe spaces for men, safe spaces for men. Trust and believe me, I understand like the people around us have work to do, but oftentimes when I create a safe space, I create it. Like when I'm in a safe space, I'm the one that's creating it. And what I mean by that is like a space is not safe until somebody uses it. So I could sit here and talk to you all day, and it could be a peaceful environment, all that kind of stuff. But if you don't ever use the space wasn't safe. It doesn't matter how much I created the space. If I had candles and like we had cotton candy in here, and like it doesn't matter how great the space feels. Yeah. If you don't ever use it, it's not safe. And so I'm saying that to say like a space will never be safe until you use it. And so when I go into these like universities and I do workshops and stuff, like they're always concerned about their students not talking, which I never have a problem. Yeah, no. With, never. Because what I do is I tell them like, yo, bro, I'm going to create the safe space. What I mean by that is I come in and I tell them, yo, I've been through suicidal ideation. I've been through anxiety. I've been through a difficult breakup. I've been through getting cheated on. You know what I'm saying? I've been through all these things. I've been through depression. So once I list all that out and I'm like, all right, yo, like how y'all feeling? Everybody's like, oh, yo, you a regular person. Like, yeah, this is what's going on. This is what's happening. Like, this is how I feel about masculinity or relationships or holistic health. We don't have a problem because why? I came in, I created the space and I used the space, right? So I think a lot of us, like, because we aren't comfortable with how we feel about ourselves, even if the space is presented to us, we're not going to use it because we don't want you to know we're going through X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, you're afraid of being vulnerable.
Right, we're afraid of being vulnerable. And so I'm saying that to say you have to get, like, as a man, you just got to get over that hurdle. If you don't ever use a space, you cannot then blame other people for not creating the space because you're not using the space. You have to use it.
Are you creating it with them in mind? Because you said that you talk to a group of students. I do the same. Like they'll give us like how many kids we need to talk to, about what the group or the population, whatever. And then we modify it for them and what's safe to talk about, and that expands it. So say you have a partner that's dealing with suicidal ideation. Even though they are very aware that you've already dealt with it and been through it before, are you modifying the space for them to feel open to pour that out? Yeah.
Yeah, always. So like, the first thing I do is I tell my story, right? So like, there's certain parts of my story that like will appeal to certain people. So like, if I'm talking about breakups and somebody's been through relationship stuff, like I know that's probably gonna be something that they resonate with. So like, I'll accentuate certain things. Like I'll talk about certain things a little bit longer depending on what the workshop is about. But oftentimes, like, it's really just me sharing my story, and then we get into like a really small activity that helps to, like, it's an icebreaker, but it doesn't feel like an icebreaker, right? So like, it'll be like, if we're talking about masculinity, I'll have them define what masculinity means to them. That's an icebreaker. They don't realize it's an icebreaker though, because it's real chill. It's like, all right, cool. We'll just use 3 words to define masculinity. That's simple. And I raise my hand and I'll just tell you like, okay, these are the 3 words. That's an icebreaker. That's getting you comfortable with expressing yourself, but you don't realize that. And then from there, now we're getting into a lot more deeper thing. Now we're going into journaling, and I want to hear what you said in your, like, what you journaled about. Like, these are some of the prompts. Now I want to hear, as a volunteer, I want to hear what you journaled about. Now you're getting into a little bit deeper expression. And then after we do all these different exercises, they're already like, we're having like full-blown conversations about these things. Everybody knows what everybody's thinking. Now at this point, like we're good. Yeah. And then from there, we get into like a roundtable discussion where we all just talk about stuff. Like we'll literally sit down like roundtable style and just chop it up about a variety of different things. It doesn't have to be about the topic like that we're talking about for the workshop. So I try to tailor it, but I know Black men, and I know like my story resonates with a lot of Black men because we've all gone through some type of heartbreak that left us depressed.
Yes.
And we've all been potentially or somewhat depressed in college, right? We've all had moments where we're like, I don't know if I want to do this relationship thing. And then we try to make the relationship thing work again. And then maybe we go through even more heartbreak. Me, after college, 2 years, relationship, get cheated on, right? A lot of us have been cheated on and we don't talk about it.
Or don't even know it.
We don't know it, unfortunately. Fortunately enough for me, I found out. But golly, if I had never, oh man, Manny, I'll be a different man today. I ain't gonna lie. I always tell people like, I'm no different. That's why I like what you said about like what you say to the folks that you deal with. Mm-hmm. That the only difference between you and me is like you in jeans all day and I, like that's really the only difference. Like
the only difference. I have done some
things
exactly that have put me behind bars years ago.
Right.
For sure.
And this is what I'm saying. Like, I'm saying that to say like, I'm really no different than a lot of men. And I know if I had been in certain situations, if I had certain stuff happen to me, I would have been a completely different Kizzle. I wouldn't be the Kizzle that you see talking about mental health. I'd probably be the Kizzle making red pill content. Like, yo, after these hoes, they're terrible. When you get your money,
not one of them podcasts.
When you get your money, flex on her, bro. When you get your money, make sure you control her. She should not be doing nothing without your approval. I'd probably be like that because I was in a completely different situation, in a completely different environment. And that made me to make different choices and decisions, all these different kind of things. I don't hold myself to a standard where I think of myself so highly that I think I could never be somebody else. That's not me. That's never been me.
And a lot of people do in society though.
Yeah, that's never been me. I always look at myself and I see other people and I'm like, yo, I could have been him if I had certain things. Like if I just had a couple of different things happen, I could have been him. If I see a homeless person, I know I could have been homeless.
Yeah.
I could have been homeless easily. Couple of different decisions, boom. I'll be right on the road with my cardboard sign. No funny. Like, I don't think about myself in a way where I'm like, yo, these things could never happen to me. Like, I know that these things are alternate realities that if I didn't stay aligned on what God's plan was for my life, these things could have definitely happened.
Still now though, story of Job, everything can be taken away in a minute.
Exactly. And that's
why I be like, ooh, Lord, get me off your list.
That's why humility is so important. So when I see people like that have a bunch of money and all these different kind of things, and like they try to make it seem like they're the reason why that these things that happen. I'm not saying like they're gonna lose all the things that they work for. I just know for myself, I never want to make it seem like I'm so successful and so self-reliant and I did all this stuff by myself.
Right.
And that's why I talk about God so much, because I don't want people to think that this is me. Sometimes people are like, nah, bro, but you put in work. Where you think I got that energy from? Where you think I got these ideas from? Where you think I got the motivation, the inspiration? Like, where do you think I got all these things from? I got this from God. This is all alignment with just being in tune with what God wants me to do. So I say this all the time so people know. Don't ever look at this platform and think, yo, that's what kid. No. Relax, buddy. Relax. If you want this to continue, I need you to relax.
Right.
Like, this is God, okay? Don't you start putting me on no pedestal, man. This ain't me, bro. This ain't me. I'm just a spokesperson. Like, that's it. I'm just a spokesperson and I'm being used as a vessel. And so I say that so brothers can understand, like, once you get in tune with what God wants you to do, doors will open. But the more you fight and the more you think that, yo, I'm going to just get it up the mud. I'm going to do it myself and I'm going to be straight and I'm going to get all this money and then she going to have to listen and you're going in the wrong direction because you letting money. First of all, you're letting money rule your thought process, which is the wrong thought process. Because once you start, the thing that you think about the most, you become a slave to. That's just it, right? So if you only think about, yo, I gotta make money, you're a slave to it, regardless. I know millionaires that like I would never want to have their mindset. It's all they do, wake up every day and just think about money. Or like there's so much stuff in this world. The only thing that the money, bro, you got enough. And the only thing you can focus on is money every day. Like, there's something wrong with you, bro.
You're running from something, usually based off poverty in childhood. That's why, like, most men that I work with, they're like, I know I don't want to go do that, but I don't want to do that. And so you have to have a level of comfortability and stability. So if you're good with what you make now and you get more, it doesn't change you, that's perfect. Your lifestyle is still the same. People tend to get more and then chase a newer lifestyle and then can't maintain it. And then mad when they have to go back. Be comfortable in each space that you get in.
That's the key to life right there. You got to practice, for lack of better words, contentment.
Yeah.
Where you are. And when I say contentment, I don't mean that means you just stop.
No, you keep going, you keep hustling. But know that this lifestyle, like right now, like what I have now, the space I have, the time I get to have, the flexibility, I love that. If more comes and more doors open and all that stuff, cool. But I honestly still want to keep the flexibility and space and comfortability that I have. Like, that's just a bonus to kind of like pay bills early at this point.
Right. And man, like as I've grown and this platform has grown, I've been able to like integrate that lesson more. Like just being able to sit in this and be appreciative. Like there's so much more. Like I could have my own studio and like I could be charging people for studio and flipping real estate and like buying a BMW and Maseratis and all. There's so much other stuff, right?
Ooh, yeah.
We could think about stuff all day. You can always be at a level and it could be great to somebody and you can still think about something else that like you could be doing more. But what I realize is like, the more I sit and be grateful for where I am right now and thank God for where I am right now, the more blessings come. Because the more God's like, okay, you're appreciative, you're a good steward of it, here you get more. Man, there's a parable in the Bible. Mm-hmm. There's a master and then he has like 3 servants, right? So we could say owner, let's just call him a business owner right now because I know the master and servant thing is a little, right? He's a business owner, he has 3 employees.
There we go.
Right? There we go, right? We're going to make it 2025 version, right? So in the parable, what happens is the business owner is going to go on vacation for a little bit, right? Have you heard of this parable? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. I'm going to tell it for the folks that haven't heard it before.
The remix.
Right, the remix version, right? Business owner is going to go on vacation and he's giving each of his employees 10 bands. Yep. He's like, yeah, y'all all get 10 bands. Make sure you take care of it, right? I'm going to be back in a month. right? So he goes on vacation, comes back. First employee, he's like, yo, what'd you do with the bread? He's like, oh, I invested some of it and I got back like 2 bands. He's like, all right, great. You're a great employee. Great work. Second one, he was like, yo, what you do with the bread? He's like, yo, I invested all of it and I got 10 bands back. He's like, yo, you great. Perfect. Third one, he's like, what you do with the bread? He's like, I just kept it tucked in the couch because I didn't want to lose it. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Right? And so every time I think about that parable, I think about being a good steward. What ended up happening in that situation is he took the money from the third employee that didn't invest it and gave it to the other 2 and was like, yo, since y'all are good stewards of this, here, right? I'm saying that to say, when you have a gift, when you have something that God has blessed you with, you have to be a good steward of it in order for you to receive more of it. If I don't steward this platform well, if I just decide like I don't want to do stuff anymore and like I'm compromising on quality and I'm not doing what I needed to do and what I did to get to this point, God's going to be like, oh, word, all right, cool. I'm taking that and I'm giving that to somebody else. That same Job situation that you talked about was like, yo, all of this can be taken away. I think about that all the time. It drives me to be a good steward of what I've been given. I feel like a lot of times folks are so worried about getting to the next level that they're not being a good steward of what they have right now. When was the last time you practiced that thing that you're so good at? When was the last time that you actually sat down and like really planned out how you're going to use your time and like do the things that you actually want to do, like the things that you aspire to do? When was the last time you did that?
Every day.
You get what I'm saying? Like, it's important for folks to like really sit and take stock of that. Like, yo, I'm actually not being a good steward of what I have right now. Why would God give me more if he's looking at me and he's like, yo, all of the stuff that I gave you right now, the few things that I gave you that you're saying you want more of.
You're not even using it.
Exactly. You're not even using it. Why would I give you more? Think about if you have a child. You have a child.
Yeah.
You have a child, right? So you know, as a mom, there's just certain things you're not going to give your child more responsibility if you see the few things that they're responsible for, they're not doing well.
Nope.
Why? This God works the same way, but I think sometimes we think God is like this just magical creature that doesn't use logic, that all we need to do is just pray and then all of a sudden he would just bless us with gold bars.
That's what my pastor said. Pastor Hollis, he's like, we use God as a genie. When we rub the bottle or rub the lamp when we need him and we want something and we put him back. And that's abuse in its own form. And so I was like, ooh, get out my Bible, get out my closet.
All right, they don't have church for today. I'm out of here.
He said during the sermon, I was like, ooh. And he was like, just think about it. Like, when's the last time you went out and party and you got hungover? You said, Lord, please, I won't do this again. I won't feel this way.
Facts.
Or if you ain't had no money, Lord, if you get me out of this rut and pay for this magically, I won't be in the same space. And we do it again. Mm-hmm. We'll do it again. We just keep calling them.
I'm telling you, man, like that parable really helped me to realize, like, yo, this is how God works. He's always sitting and looking and testing and verifying and validating before he approves you for more. He ain't stupid. He's not stupid, right? Like I would hope not.
I mean, he made some questionable humans, but
I ain't gonna lie. He wilding a couple times. I ain't gonna lie, wilding a little bit. But
she said a little razzle dazzle for the community.
Gave a few folks a little bit too much pepper, but for the most part, he know what he doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like you can't just expect God to be out here just seeing you not steward the stuff that you have right now and give you more. That is just not, come on, bro. We gotta use a little bit of our head right now and think about that. Like that don't make sense. Why wouldn't even do that?
Mm. But I mean, even when he takes away, I love the phase of, like I said, redemption. Like we have a chance to not just prove to him, but prove to ourselves, like, I am capable of doing this. I can have this. I don't even require more. I'm grateful for what you give me for right now to just change myself. Mm-hmm.
Man, we've talked about so much that I did not think we were going to talk about, but I really enjoyed this conversation, honestly. And I think it's important that we end with talking about the folks that you have worked with that have like reintegrated into society. What are some of the things that you feel like are common denominators for those folks that like do well after reintegrated?
Believe it or not, most of them come from the same environment.
Okay.
So definitely just being big on social justice, Poverty is big. Like I was telling you earlier, food deserts in the community, littering, just a lack of cleanliness. And then, of course, police brutality or a high surveillance are always in those areas where a lot of them get caught up.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest common denominator is all of them are wanting to leave and change. The biggest thing is change. And so they have accepted that what they've done is not going to work again. Like the acceptance part. Radical acceptance is really, really big when you're trying to change self.
Right.
And so when they get out and they're all like, I used to do this and this and this, man, and now I have this. And that's the part like now I have this. That's my favorite part that they all do. And a lot of them now are big on either going back to school or starting businesses. Believe it or not, the nonprofit that I am on board for, my CEO, founder, executive, all those good things, he's a part of the Just Impacted population. And he was locked up at a young age and came out and like hit the ground running. He still had a love for music, but created the nonprofit Recycle Reinvest. So we are like the gap between violence and littering. So like we pick up garbage all over the low income spots of Nashville. We get a lot of grants. We have soil soldiers. So, at a young age, a lot of boys are selling drugs or trying to find money. Usually starts about like 11, 12, 13. We're paying kids to recycle, to pour back into the community. Starting off at $13 an hour. Just $13 an hour.
Yeah, I said, $13 an hour.
Yeah, $13. I wish it was 13 bands, but yeah, $13 an hour.
$13 an hour is not bad.
Just to pick up garbage.
That's not bad at all. Do they have is it unlimited out or they got to work like a certain number out?
It's a program. So it's a mentor program. So you're connected with a mentor. We do financial literacy. So we help them create bank accounts, which a lot of young Black children don't have or are not aware of. We get to work with the Tennessee Titans. So we get free tickets to the games.
Word?
So a lot of kids haven't gone to games. We get to go. We went when we played against actually the Jaguars. We lost, but it was a great game and kids were so excited to go. We hold block parties every year. We do back to school drives, stuff like that. So he took what he grew up in and experienced and poured it back into the youth so they don't have to do that. And now just big on like climate justice and everything. Like I love like all the people I get to work with are from similar backgrounds as myself and choose to pour into the youth. Like, okay, I know what this feels like. I don't want them going through that because now it's at a heightened level and it's much worse, especially with the economy.
That's dope. Yeah, y'all doing a lot of good stuff, man. That's really dope, man. That's really dope. So I want to end with asking you, and I think I want to make this a tradition. For the Black man that's struggling right now, that's trying to figure life out, that doesn't really know what he's doing, that may be like depressed or whatever the case may be, like that's just like kind of in a rough patch right now. What do you think he needs to hear? And I'm gonna let you think about that for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I know we talked about the camera situation. So if you don't look at me, look at the camera and talk to him and tell him what you feel like he needs to hear. And you can take your time, like however long you need to take to think about it, because we could cut it out.
Well, first of all, Black men, Black boys, to my Black son, first thing you need to do is pray. Okay? Even if you don't have the words, God sees your tears. He hears your cries. That is a prayer in my eyes. I feel like you need to pray. You need to get out everything on your chest. If no one's going to listen, he is going to listen. Like, I think that's the biggest thing that we as people forget, that even though we can be alone, population-wise, people-wise, that we're literally not alone. God is there hugging you and holding you every step of the way. Even in your darkest moments from experience, he is still holding you and wiping your tears and still pouring into you. Your sad story, your down moment is your testimony, your level of redemption. So pray, 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 pray. Have discernment, look for an answer, look for a next step. Say, God, give me the words, give me the right things to do, put me in the right rooms, put me in someone's path that can not only help me, but me help them. So that should start off right there. If you are in a down and depressed moment, not knowing what to do, I know we always say use 988, call your local mental health crisis hotline. And sometimes you don't have the strength to even do that. If you do have one friend, one person, one professor, one mentor that you know you can be vulnerable with, even with somebody on social media that you don't even talk to, but you know that seems kind of cool. But I've actually had one person do that to me, actually.
Word.
Yeah, and we were on the phone for like 3 hours. If it's one person that you know you think you can connect with, use that space to talk to them. You have to talk to somebody and start getting in the right direction. Community is a very big thing, like I'm preaching now. If you feel like you don't have anybody, look up and find spaces that you think are safe enough for you to be in, that you can be vulnerable with. There are always weekly or semi-monthly group support that you can be a part of. Find another brother that you can connect with. I'm about to go back to God. I mean, the biggest thing is God for me. Because like you said, like he helps you find your purpose, aligns you with it. I mean, nothing else. Even you're sleeping in your car, test him and see what he does.
No, absolutely. Amen.
Man.
I feel like you said it. And that's why I as much as when I first started this platform, I didn't really talk about God like that. Not that I didn't have a relationship, but just, I was always talking about mental health. And I started realizing like holistic health includes our spiritual health. And like without our spiritual health, like to be honest, I don't think none of this really works.
Yeah. I mean, your mental health and your spiritual life are honestly one. You can have your spiritual healer, counselor, and your physical counselor. It's always good to have your therapist, your pastor, and God, someone that you can trust on all levels. And of course, again, a close friend that can also be there when we can't be there. We have office hours. I'm sorry, after my office hours, I'm off the clock.
Right. You got to take your rest too.
Have that boundary, yeah. And I'm a therapist with a therapist, so I really learn boundaries. So that's where your community comes in. But I'm never shameful like to talk about God on stuff. Like even on my page now, like I'll put up like notes from my pastor when we talk about in sermons. People like, your clients are of all backgrounds, and that is fine. I love that. I love my clients come from everywhere. I love that I work with people of all walks of life. But as for me, I'm going to talk about the Lord, and I'm going to post about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, I feel you.
Just jot it down in your journal.
Yeah. Like honestly, I have every time I talk about God, or at least most of the time when I talk about God, I have a few people on the page that just get so upset.
Yes, I've seen those comments.
Yeah, like literally, they get so mad. Why are you talking about religion? God don't do nothing. What you talking about? The invisible man in the sky and blah, 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 blah. And what I will say to them is, I think it's important for you to understand why do you get so worked up when you see somebody else talking about God? Why does that trigger you so much? Like, I really would love for them to like sit down and explore that, because it's literally the same people. I will talk about God and I'll see the same username like pop up.
They may feel like God never heard their cries. Right.
And I think it's important for them to acknowledge like, this is what I'm feeling, and then address that rather than lashing out. And I don't pay it no mind. Like, I'm not upset at them or anything like that, but I just wanted to use this opportunity to talk about that, because I know sometimes there can be like hesitancy from like creators and people that have certain professions to not talk about God because they're unsure about like how it's going to be received. But I'm saying that to say like, you are going to eventually have someone that's going to be upset, whatever the case may be, and you'll be fine. And for those people that get upset, it's important for them to identify, why are you getting so mad at somebody talking about
what's triggering in your spirit for when I talk about a person that has carried me makes you so upset.
Right.
But I mean, they need to understand there are people even locked up that still found the Lord, and that's what's getting them through their situation and circumstance. That's all that they have.
Right.
So, I mean, if you have someone else, I love that for you. But this is who I have.
Right. And let me have what I have.
Let me have my Lord.
Amen. Amen. On that note, please tell the people where they can find you, how they can get tapped in, anything that you got. I see you got the Relatable Counselor merch. Like, where can they find you? How can they support? What's up?
Well, yeah, I always wear myself. So this name definitely came from him because, like I said, I should have been in jail. Definitely I've done some things. I've seen some things. I've experienced some things that should have definitely had me behind bars a few times. But my background has made me relatable to my clients and who I speak to. So domestic violence, suicidal ideation, and attempt. Everyone this year I've dealt with more speaking on my suicide experience and it failing and connecting with people than anything else. And domestic violence, but definitely the suicide. It was definitely a fail. Parenting, connecting people with that, education, especially at a college level. I am a first generation and a non-traditional student. My daughter went to school with me, into classes with me. So those who have kids while in college or even like doing grad school, because I am finishing my second master's. So it's like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people who are going back to school need that common relatability factor. So I'm the only one that wears the name because this is me. Like, this is just me, like, giving back. Like, you put me through all this stuff to connect with others. But you can find me on Instagram at The Relatable Counselor. Of course, the website, www.therelatablecounselor.com. I have Threads. I don't really use it. I feel like it's the Instagram, Twitter. It gives me a headache, but I like to scroll. And my email and stuff are on my Instagram. Always feel free to email me. You can always inbox me. I literally respond to everybody. So if you're seeking services, do not inbox me. Go to the website.
Yeah. And what's the website again?
www.therelatablecounselor.com.
Dope.
And yeah, I mean, I'm very responsive, very open. You can talk to me about anything and I won't cringe. I mean, I literally seen and dealt with it all.
Right.
I mean, all the gooey stuff.
Listen, y'all, go tap in, follow Mandii on all platforms where Mandii is active and available. And please go to therelatablecounselor.com if you are looking for services. I really do think you're going to get some DMs. Depending on how content goes on Instagram, like I've had folks that come up that are counselors that will say, yeah, every time you post about this thing, like I get a bunch of DMs about stuff. I'm like, folks DM you? They never DM me. Maybe they just hate me, right? No, I'm joking.
I think like, because it's a difference between your page and like the Instagram page. It can probably be intimidating for some because a lot of people who like reach out to these type of platforms the creators don't respond back.
Right, for sure.
So it's like, are you going to be receptive? They only got to talk to you in the comments. It's like, but.
Nah, absolutely. I understand that. Like, I'm just joking. And I feel like at this point now, like we try to get back to everybody, but I know for a fact, like we're not. Like
it's a lot.
Yeah, it's just,
I have a lot of my students like post you every day. I'm like, all right, you got some fans and stuff.
Nah, I love it. Yeah, I've been to
Memphis.
Yeah, I went to. Yeah, how you know? I was like,
because one of my friends, I used to model back in the day. Okay. One of my friends is a photographer and he took your pictures there. And so he was like, why are you in Florida? And I told him, because I haven't told anyone, I told him, he was like, Kizzle. And then I was like, you took his pictures? He was like, yeah, he a cool dude. Yeah. He a cool dude. I was like, okay.
I'm be chilling, bro. I literally be chilling. Anytime, for anybody that may see me anywhere, never think that I'm going to be like, I'm going to W. Like, if you see me and you know me, pull up to me, let's have a conversation. Those conversations really be making my day, man. I was in the gym the other day and this dude pulled up. He's like, yo, I saw your Instagram, man. Like, this is so dope. I didn't even know you do this stuff. I'm like, yo, I'll be chilling. I tell everybody saying, I'll be chilling. I'm not one of those people that's like, yo, we got this thing going on. It's so, I'm like, I don't think I'm more important than anybody else.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a regular person at the end of the day.
Because people use that to form their identity.
Right, exactly. Like, I don't base my identity off of Express Yourself Black, man. I'm Kizzle. At the end of the day, like, Kizzle not even my real name. You feel me? Like, my real name is Kofi. Exactly, right? Like, so at the end of the day, like, when I really think about I'm Kofi at the end of the day. I've been Kofi and Kofi's going nowhere. Like, that's never going to change. So I think it's important for us to all have that level of humility and not take ourselves and not put ourselves on a pedestal. And that's, again, why I always, always, always talk about God, because God always will humble me and let me know, this ain't you, brother. So don't even think. Don't even start thinking.
I know. When I see my bills, I said, ooh, Lord.
Yeah.
Raise it up a little bit.
Right, exactly. Listen, with that being said, man, it's been dope. I'm so appreciative of this episode, man. Like I said, y'all go follow Mandii everywhere and go tap in on the website. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you are planning an event or you're a part of your organization's Black employee group and you are interested in having dope Black mental health professionals or myself come in and do a speaking engagement or a workshop or a keynote address or a panel, please click the link in our bio on Instagram or TikTok, scroll down and click book us for speaking and brand deals and fill out the form available on our website. Once you fill out the form, one of our team members will get back to you about how we can collaborate and create something dope for your organization. This is an unparalleled opportunity. We are currently the largest Black men's mental health platform, and we have a few slots available for our calendar year, and we would love to partner with you to create something dope for your organization if it makes sense for both parties, right? So go to the link in our bio, scroll down, click book us for speaking and brand deals, and fill out that form. If you're not on Instagram, the link should be linked in our description of this episode. And it is also on our website. If you go to expressyourselfblackman.com/speaking-brand-deals. That's expressyourselfblackman.com/speaking-brand-deals. If you are looking for a therapist, a Black therapist, and you've had a hard time finding one, you jump from therapist to therapist, or you just don't know how to find a therapist, we are teaching a free webinar. It's completely free, taking you from not knowing how to find a therapist, not knowing where to search for therapists, struggling with finding good therapists for you, not knowing what to look for in therapists, teaching you all of those different things, and also giving you the opportunity at the end of the webinar to be connected with one of our safe haven healers who are Black mental health professionals so that you do not have to go through the struggles of finding a Black therapist alone anymore, right? So if you're interested in that, you want to get connected with a Black mental health professional at the end of the webinar, or you just want to learn how to find a Black therapist by yourself, you can sign up for the free webinar. It's linked in our bio on Instagram and TikTok. You just click that free webinar link. Once you click the link in our bio and fill out the form. You can also find it on our website at expressyourselfblackman.com/links and fill out the form there for our next webinar session. If you're not interested in any of that, right, but you know someone that may be interested in it, all we ask is that you please share it. If you want some of the merch that we show on the platform all the time, that we're wearing on the platform all the time, you can shop it at shop.expressyourselfblackman.com. And once again, we just want to say thank you so much for watching this episode. Thank you so much for supporting us. Please, if you are on YouTube, leave a like, subscribe, comment. If you're listening to this on an audio platform, please leave a review. It helps us out greatly. Thank you so much for your support. We're wishing you nothing but the best and sending you and your family and your loved ones love and light. Peace.
Sometimes I know you feel like you ain't got nobody to speak to. A shoulder to lean on somebody you could preach to. No, you need to hear it, my brother, I love you. We got way too much to live for.